I'm gonna put you on the spotlight. Kind of a question that it's tough to answer sometimes. Rank the 4 horsewomen.
Woo! Rank the 4 horsewomen.
Obviously, it's subjective and it's your opinion, but rank them as from your favorite to like your least favorite. All 4 of them are dope. We all understand that. But if you had to rank them for yourself,
Charlotte number 1 for me because Jesus Christ, can that woman do everything? It's scary. She does everything good. So Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, Becky. Okay. If I'm doing it in the 4 horsewomen era, that's my 4 in that rank.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think mine's similar. Becky and Bayley, it's the same thing. But for me, I just think Sasha would be first because there's, I don't know, something I watch it. So in Canada, we had NXT since like the inception, since it went from game show to like developmental. And I felt like that was one of the first characters on that roster on NXT. Like she started like, I feel like Charlotte found herself a lot on the main roster, and even more in the last 5 years, 6 years. Like she really like found herself fully feeling herself. But like Sasha was feeling herself in like 2014, 15. Like she knew like that confidence that she had their character down. And I was like, and I think, and I was, I always say with women's wrestling, because similar to you, 2007, 2011 kind of fell out of it. Watch Raw on Mondays, didn't watch all the pay-per-views. They moved SmackDown to Fridays, which was kind of difficult. I was still going out and doing stuff and pre-PVR, DVR, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, try to catch the Undertaker segment if that was anything for me. Caught a little bits of the Jeff Hardy Punk feud, but didn't watch it every weekend. And it's the same issue with women's wrestling. I'm like, I remember like Trish, Lita, Victoria, Molly Holly, and then I know all the girls that were there. I know all the Michelle McCools and the Laylas and all this stuff happened, and I could tell you who was champions, but I couldn't tell you who beat who or when they beat them or any of that. There's 3 things that happened. There was Total Divas, whether you loved it or hate it. I used to watch with my ex-girlfriend. Made me like get into like the women's wrestling. Like, these girls are cool. Like I know them. This is like a cool show that now makes me like, well, I want to watch Bellas. I want to watch these people. There was AJ Lee. She was so involved in the men's storylines and stuff with Punk and Bryan that when she beat Caitlyn for that Divas Championship, I was following along. I was there for it from that moment forward. I could tell you every champion. And then it was NXT. It was like Paige and Emma, and then all these girls started coming up. And Sasha was the one who I'm like, for the first time in a very long time, I enjoy watching her wrestle. Like I enjoy watching her wrestling matches. Like she's a fun wrestler to watch as a women's wrestler. So I would say Sasha, Charlotte, and then Becky and Bayley are like they can flip flop as much as they want on the given year. But yeah.
When you talk about the Sasha Banks era at NXT, like immediately connecting with the fact that she believed, like she was all in, and I mean that damn NXT Brooklyn match, that takeover match between her and Bayley, like that. I've watched that match like at least 100 times.
That's still my favorite women's match.
They beat the hell out of each other, and the crowd and the it was perfection.
Yeah, and like that was the thing about NXT, that there was those women down that were getting time and they were doing things that we didn't see the women on the main roster doing. And I feel like that Brooklyn match put such a spotlight on it for even the people that weren't watching NXT weekly. Like, whoa, what are the girls doing down here? Like, that's insane. And they told a story and they broke it down. They came in there with the beef and they had big entrance. It was great. My favorite women's match. There's been so many good ones since. Like I still think I almost still think WrestleMania 32 could have main evented with Sasha versus Charlotte and Becky, and people would have been hyped for it. They would have been hyped for it over Roman Triple H. It still would have been hyped for it because that match was exciting for everybody. That's crazy. Ranking the 4 horsewomen is always hard.